Welcome to the Unproductive Podcast.
Hey,
Episode
guys.
12.
ASMR.
It's your
Yeah,
boys.
the ASMR version.
Listen to me tap.
Please, I don't... No, that stuff's weird. I don't like it.
Alright, that's a whole other issue. Alright, we're talking about open world games.
Yay.
Right? Yep.
Are we?
Yeah, right.
Cool.
Genre game. Gotta have it, gotta love it.
Okay.
I don't gotta love it.
No, you don't
I think
gotta-
it's a necessary evil, but...
I don't... Alright, we'll see. Let's get into it. Okay, so... Do we want to, create our own little definition for, open world game for this discussion? Set some,
Open world to me is, it's an expansive map. You can go anywhere on the map at any time. Close to anywhere on the map at any time. But not necessarily be able to survive there. Because, that's, to me, that you do progression in an open world game by putting higher level enemies in different areas.
So how big does it have to be? Is there a size it should
I don't think there needs to be a size for an open world game.
It depends on if you have a fast travel mechanic or not.
Yeah, that's a big thing too.
Because Dragon's Dogma doesn't have a fast travel, and that map is huge as shit.
Okay, well,
So yeah.
there's two examples that are pretty interesting to me of whether or not you even count them as open world games. And
Okay.
the first one is Tony Hawk's American Wasteland. Now, this game, they would when they were making it, or when they were advertising it or whatever, they were like, hey, this game, it's one big level. No loading screens. And they didn't lie. But there's basically what it is, it's a bunch of smaller levels. It takes place in Los Angeles. So
Okay.
you're a bunch of smaller levels, and then there's tunnels between each of them that take a minute and a half.
Well, yeah,
to
it's
get
a
through.
loading tunnel,
Well, I know it's a loading tunnel,
but
obviously.
no loading screens.
But would we be willing to call that an open world?
I guess it's very. I guess we could call it the exception to the rule.
And I'm
of,
sure there's other games like that. The other one I was going to bring up is a game that I really like a lot that just came out, Nier Automata, which also has an open world, but it's kind of like that. It's not as bad, but it's the first area is a ruined city, and then you go to a desert, and it's not like you just walk into the desert. There's no loading screen, but there's also kind of a little partition, and it's obviously a different level. If you play something like Grand Theft Auto 5, it's supposed to be a city and the countryside around it.
Right.
There's not obviously clear partitions that are gamey and levelish.
Right. So okay, I could kind of count those as close to open world, but not necessarily open world, because open world implies that there's no partitions or anything. There's just you can go anywhere, almost anywhere at any time, except for certain areas, final areas and stuff.
Well, yeah.
But
I mean, in lots of the old GTA games, you had to do a certain amount of the story before you unlocked different parts of the map and stuff.
yeah,
Stuff like that, obviously.
yeah. I mean, I'm when I think open world, I think Fallout or Skyrim or GTA and stuff. So, or even really Borderlands. The Borderlands games are open world to me because you can kind of go anywhere.
I don't know.
After a certain point, once you open up cars and stuff, you can kind of go.
I know, but see, those were a lot more like Nier and Tony Hawk. Not quite as much like Tony Hawk, but there's literal loading screens between each level.
Oh yeah, all right. Maybe you're right. I guess you're right. So I don't know. Sandbox and open world and stuff is
I mean, they try to build a world.
Yeah.
But I don't feel like it's the same kind of game.
MMOs are a lot of the time open world, especially WoW. WoW, they just separate it by level stuff, so you can go anywhere you want. Just depends on if something's gonna kill you or not.
Just gonna get your ass kicked.
Yeah, more than likely.
So this is a big. It's dying down a little bit, but between 2011 and 2015, it seemed like every fucking game was an open world
RPG.
Open world RPG with crafting mechanics and
Well,
survival elements.
Yeah, of course. It's something that open world's hard to do because it's the game map is so expansive that
Takes a lot of shit to run too.
yeah, your game is that's why Bethesda games look so bad. Is because they try their open world is
I'm just gonna be real. I'm gonna start this off right.
All right.
okay.
I think most open worlds are shit.
Oh yeah, oh
And
definitely.
most open world games would be better if they were not an open world game.
Oh, more than like yeah. Oh, definitely.
Well, when you make a huge environment, you can't focus on everything. You spend like forever.
I would rather your gameplay mechanics be good and your characters be good.
When I now in the year of our Lord, God in heaven, 2017, when I see hundreds of hours of content, open world, hundreds of quests, I'm like, well, that sounds like the shittiest fucking game I've ever played.
That makes your game feel like work,
Because
and I don't want to work.
The whole game is going to be boring as sin.
More than likely.
And have a bunch of boring ass quests.
Yep.
Like, Bethesda's the worst about the quests.
Fetch this piece of cheese.
Radiant quests are literally the worst thing that have ever happened. They're like MMO daily quests, but worse.
I like to do the Dark Brotherhood Radiant quest though, because I'm like they send me to Riften half the time, and I can just stand there and shoot some bitch with an arrow in the docks. The fishwife in the docks. All right, shoot.
They're like, hey, run to this dungeon and pick up the troll testicle. And you're like, okay, let me go collect 5 troll testicles.
Yeah.
Infinitely. In Fallout 4, it's worse, too, because you'll be in Sanctuary, and Preston Garvey will be like, you'll be on the other side of the map, you'll just be walking around, and then you'll hear Preston Garvey say, another settlement needs our help, and then a quest will automatically just pop up on your shit, and you're like, okay, alright.
What?
Not only did I not want to do the quest, but you automatically put it in my quest list.
Yeah.
And it's not in its own category either, which is really annoying. It's like, you'll be looking at like main story quest, interesting side quest, 7 radiant quests, and you're like, I'm never going to do those, but will never go away. And if you do one on accident or something, you go turn it in, Preston will be like, hey, another settlement needs our help.
Great.
Love it.
Yeah, radiant quests are trash.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's literally, I don't want to like rant about New Bethesda forever, but like it's literally just an excuse for them to let modders finish their game.
Yeah. Because
ever since like Morrowind, it's been like, well, let's let modders make our stories interesting. And then ever since like, I guess Fallout 4, they made a little bit of strides on the Fallout 3 gameplay, but it's also like, let's let modders make the story interesting and make the crafting interesting and make the graphics interesting and make the quests interesting. And it's like, so what the fuck am I buying your game for? Right. But, it's basically a modding platform at that point.
Mm-hmm. But I guess kind of back to the open world thing here. What would you say is good about open world?
When it's done well, it is one of the most like immersive ways you can do a setting, just because you feel like you're like, I'm trying to think of my favorite examples. I mean, all of the GTA games are good about it, but they have a lot of interesting stuff to do, and they're based on real places.
Right. I like the feel of exploring things. Like, oh, cool, let me find this new area and go to this new place, and there's not, oh, go find 12 Easter eggs on this level. It's, oh, I can explore this cave or this dungeon or whatever, and it's more fun to me that way than just, oh, go do this, this, and this.
Yep.
Next level. This, and this. Next level. It's just
seeing like, that's like, I think the best example of the open world, at least from Bethesda, is Morrowind, just because of like it's way smaller.
Okay.
Which is a good thing.
Yeah.
Almost all of the time.
The smaller your open world is, the better.
Yeah, because you can put more stuff into it.
Like,
Like, people complained about New Vegas when it came out, because they said, okay, some people complained because it was too small, which is not a valid concern, because there's way more, like, quests and things to do in New Vegas than there are in 3.
Okay.
So other people who liked the exploration complained that there's lots of places, lots of marked locations in New Vegas that kind of were like, there was nothing really there, nothing, like, super interesting there, which is a valid complaint, I guess. It doesn't bother me that much, but I guess I can understand why, because, like, in Fallout 3, if it's a named location, there's probably, like, a bobblehead, or a unique gun, or a side quest. There's usually something there. Something interesting.
I guess it makes sense.
But New Vegas has, like, twice as many named locations, and maybe, like, 1/4 of them are, like, a shack with some ammo in it.
Right.
Yeah.
So, I can understand where if the main thing you're getting out of the game is, well, let me find this new place, and maybe New Vegas, like, doesn't have, when you find that place, it's not going to necessarily be interesting like it is maybe in, I think Fallout 3 does that the best.
Okay.
Because I think Skyrim has the same problem as New Vegas, where a lot of places are just like a cave for a Radiant quest.
More than likely, yeah.
Pick up this rock for me, please. Okay.
Also, but like the smaller your open world is, the better, because it's easier to traverse. I don't need to tape down my the D-pad on my controller so I can walk on this straight road for 20 hours across your map.
And in an ideal situation, you shouldn't have to have fast travel.
Right.
That's the ideal situation.
I mean, if you make your map big enough, then that is a good thing.
You need it, but like
if it's small, then you shouldn't.
Like I'm gonna go back to Morrowind again.
Well, it's
back to Bethesda.
Because first of all, the only fast travel in that game is like in lore fast travel. So like there's these big like weird ass bugs that like service transportation. So if you want to travel between big cities, you go to the person, you pay them like whatever,
right?
And
that makes sense.
They take you, and then later on in the game, once you get like a bunch of good ass shit, like you'll be exploring around, and if you're lucky, you'll find the boots of blinding speed, which they make you blind, but you run at like 300% speed. But if you wear
turn into Sonic.
But if you wear a resist magic ring and then you put them on, then you don't turn blind and you're just fast as fuck. Then you can also make a levitation spell that lasts for like 5 minutes. So you can fly around at 300% speed, and then you never need to fast travel again because you're having the fucking time of your life flying around smacking birds with a sword.
Alright, a bit of a side note here. I have to mention this, because I just mentioned Sonic. Yeah. But Sonic Forces is letting you have your own OCs.
I know.
Dude, it's so great.
I can't wait to make Blonic.
I know.
We were talking about that fucking in the car.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
We knew we were getting hyped.
It's confirmed we're playing that game.
Yeah. I mean, it looks fun.
Oh, yeah.
Sonic Generations was fun. It was just too short.
Yeah.
And then Sonic Mania looks really good.
Yo, why is there a Sonic open world game?
No, not really. Like
Sonic 06 was
Sonic Adventure and Sonic 06 a little bit.
Cool.
Was a little bit like it.
Honestly, Sonic Adventures is kind of an open world game a little bit.
Yeah. Cool.
There's like 3 big hub areas and there's like little levels that you go to from each one, but
yeah.
Could we count Sonic Unleashed though? Because Sonic Unleashed
Unleashed is kind of an open world game.
I feel like it's less. I don't know.
I
guess so.
I remember only like I went to like there's Japan and you go to it and like there's a lot of little levels that you go in between.
Is Pokemon an open world game?
See, no, I don't think so. I don't think most.
It's very.
I don't think most JRPGs are open world games.
Okay, what about not FF15 or no?
FF15 is.
Oh, okay.
FF13 is not. It's very.
Well, no, obviously.
FF13's.
If there is an FF that
on
is
rails fighting.
If there's an FF that is, it's probably 15.
Okay.
I mean, most like JRPGs, but like Final Fantasy, for example, like by the end you can go anywhere. Right. But by the end, there's not really that. Like, there's side quests, a little side quests, and then you beat the game. Right. Final Fantasy VI is kind of an interesting example because halfway through the story, spoilers for Final Fantasy VI. If you haven't played it, what the fuck are you doing?
The world, the map changes.
The world ends, and then when you go to the second part of the game, it's like after the apocalypse, and you start off as like one of your characters, and then over the course of like a couple hours, you get 2 more characters out of 12 you could have. Okay. There's 12 you have at that point. And you have those 3 characters, and at that point, you can literally go fight Kefka and beat the game.
Cool.
Or you can round up all your characters in whatever order you want. See, that's kind of open worldish, I think. That's like the most like non-linear a Final Fantasy game has pretty much ever been.
You played Lisa, right?
Yeah, I played.
Would it be open world? Because
no, I don't think so.
There's different hub worlds, and there's different places to go to, and you can go back and forth between each one.
I know. I don't know. It's like that one's kind of like the Sonic Adventure example. There's like you reach a little hub, and then there's like maybe like between like 3 and 6 different ways you can go, and each way is kind of a little branch out.
Right.
See, I don't think so. Because that, to me, that's like, it's like a linear game, but then there's like little branches out, and some of them you have to do, some of them you don't have to do. And
still need to beat that game. Shit.
I think a big part of it is how non-linear it allows you to be.
Okay, yeah.
I think that's important.
If
I can jump in the game and then fuck off and never like do the main story ever, then it's way more likely to be like an open world game.
Right.
See, and that's something that Nier doesn't do.
Nier Automata or Nier?
Nier Automata or Nier as well, but
I thought Nier was No, I guess Nier's not really an open world. You
No,
just
it's
have to run
it's
around
like
a
it's
lot.
pretty much the same as
Yeah.
Nier Automata. There's actually less areas, so
Yeah.
but like Nier Automata, it's like you progress through the main quest, and you unlock a bunch of side quests that you can do, and the
Right.
world's getting bigger, and you can kind of explore and find little. There's a lot of exploration,
Yeah.
but you're also very like the amount of the world you can explore, especially like your first when you're playing through Route A, is very determined by how far you are in the main quest. So
I don't mind fast travel as long as it makes sense.
I like there to be a reason for me to be able to fast
Well,
travel.
the worst part, like when I played
Kinda get
Skyrim,
back
I
to what we
always
were
like
talking about
I always
before.
feel like fast traveled, and like apparently there's supposed to be like funny stuff that always happens along the roads or some shit like that. And like especially when you can fast travel, you just miss the little shit on the side of the roads a lot of the time.
Yeah, but I mean, like, it's...
Well, the problem is they don't make it worth it. They make you want to fast travel. That's what I'm saying. You should want to walk. You should want to go like walk around.
Right.
If the open world is good, like in Fallout 1 and 2, what it wasn't. I mean, it's not really open world. It kind of is a little bit, but basically, like you start off in a city, and then if you want, you can like fuck off and just like walk in any direction, and then like you see the overworld map, and then you click where you want to go, and your guy walks there, and there's like a chance of you having a random encounter, and where
Okay.
random stuff happens. But you can start the game and literally like walk to the final dungeon.
You're gonna get your ass kicked, but...
There's the speed run for that game is like 10 minutes because the guy just walks to the final dungeon and like, yeah, it's
Cool.
pretty cool to watch. But
I mean, that's cool.
I mean, so that game is like kind of open worldish in that way, but
Right.
is being at a city and then clicking another city and then waiting like 30 seconds for you to walk there and maybe getting a random counter, is that fast travel? I mean, it's the only way you can travel, I guess. So, but in Fallout 2, you can get a car that makes you go faster. So is that fast travel? I don't know.
What is fast travel?
I think fast travel counts as, like...
I think it's typically like teleportation, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's...
like Skyrim. You just go, you pop into the destination, and you're there, but time's
Yeah.
just advanced.
Also, something else that I really hate in an open world game nowadays, a lot of the time, you get a mission. Like, it really makes me mad in like Fallout and Skyrim when you get a quest, and it'll be like, go find the troll testicle, and then there's no like in game or in lore way that you would have any idea where the troll testicle is. They say, can you go to the cave of Dickfuck and locate a troll testicle? But how would you know where the cave of Dickfuck is, besides the fact that there's a quest marker?
Right.
And
Well, it's in canon that, like, the main character of a Bethesda game is, like, some kind of weird magical person, because, like, there's, like...
well, I mean, only in Skyrim are they the guy, though.
Well, no, what I mean is, like, it's recognized in, like, canon kind of cheekily that, like, they have some kind of weird power where they just stop and, like, heal and shit. Like, the weird, like, quirks.
Something Morrowind did. It didn't do it that well, but it did it. And they added, like, a quest. When the game originally came out, you had, like, when you learn new information, you get a new quest, you have a diary. And then if you look through the diary, you can see, like, all your different quests. There wasn't a quest log, which made it really confusing, but they added that in a DLC, in a patch or whatever. But when you got a quest, like, let's say you're talking to some lady, and she's like, can you find my husband? He's missing. He's in this location. To get to this location, go from Balmora south until you see this thing, and then go southeast about 200 feet, and then you find your location.
That's the problem. Morrowind comes from an older generation of games. No one's willing to read for directions.
Well,
half the time when I play Mountain...
Well, and here's the real problem. The real problem isn't that there is a quest marker. The problem is that if you play Skyrim, you can turn off the quest markers. If you turn off the quest markers, you will be unable to do, like, half the quests. Because they don't tell you where to go. There's no, like, diary or quest log or anything that tells you anything about it. So it's like, I don't know.
It's just...
it immerses you when you have the ability, at least, to just, like, explore the world that way. Like, it makes you want to explore to find stuff.
Well, that just...
And that's a hallmark of good design.
Well, in a way, like, in quests, like in...
the map's also smaller, too.
Well, yeah, but it wouldn't be that hard in Skyrim if you, like, if a lady was like, hey, can you go to this location to find whatever quest, I don't care.
Yeah.
And then they say, it's southeast from Whiterun. When you see a windmill, turn right and then go forward and you should see the cave or whatever.
Right.
If that was in the game, then you could turn off quest markers if you wanted. But that's not in the game at all. They just didn't put it in.
Right.
So not only like are they allowing you to be lazy and like making the world less immersive, but they like don't even allow you.
Well,
to...
isn't Skyrim like baby's first Elder Scrolls game anyway?
I mean, it's baby's first
It's like
baby's first RPG.
Yeah.
That's Pokemon.
Well, baby's first JRPG is
Pokemon. All right.
yeah.
The kind of getting back to like the map. If your map isn't like the overworld map, if your map isn't like interesting with a lot of stuff to do, don't bother. Like you have to have like.
See, that's the big problem now. It's because like games like, I'll be honest, I have not played Metal Gear Solid 5 yet, but the biggest complaint I hear about it, besides the story, is the fact that the open world, it might as well not even be there because it's not interesting.
Yeah.
It is vast stretches of boring nothing between like hubs of where all the missions and the content are. So what's the point? Like, there's no point.
Right. I mean, that makes sense, but like
It's just an open world, literally just a B1, which was a big problem. It's kind of dying down a little bit, but
yeah. I think it was just one of those.
I mean, between Grand Theft Auto and like Minecraft and Far Cry, every game wanted to like mimic some or more, one or more of those, and kind of like. But not every game needs to have a big ass open world. Most games it doesn't work for.
Yeah.
There's no point.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, open world. It has some its good points, but there's just so many cons to it because more often than not, it's boring to walk around. If you don't make stuff, if you don't have good random encounters in your open world, don't bother, because like if you're not gonna make it worth my while to walk around and do stuff, I'm not gonna do it. Don't make your game feel like a chore.
Well, the thing is, like, I think the problem is like when you have an open world and like with Skyrim, the problem is like fitting little things that make it interesting like in there, because like in Skyrim there's a bunch of like plants they can pick up for a bunch of shit, but then you can just buy the ingredients.
Well, yeah.
Instead of picking it up, like half the time in Skyrim, and I was walking to one quest, it was like this fucking way overpowered dragon that came down and fucking kicked my ass. So I never played the game again until like I picked it back up.
You died to a dragon?
Wow. Anyway,
something that Bethesda they didn't do it in Fallout 3. It was kind of awful in Fallout 3, but in most of their games they have something that's kind of cool, is where you can go to a city and then like you can see how they survive. Like there's actual like farms, or there's like it's how like people, it makes sense how people are getting water. In Fallout 3, it's the worst. Like they just put shit in the game to be cool. Like the first city you go and there's a fucking atomic bomb and everyone lives around an atomic bomb and you're like, why? Why, besides the fact that it's cool? It doesn't make literally any sense for anybody to want to live next to an atomic bomb. There's no farm. They have no way of getting water. That's literally the point of the game, is that nobody has been able to drink for 200 years.
Right.
Like, that makes no sense.
Hey man, I didn't make the game.
I know. But
so
if you're building, especially if you're building like a fantasy world or something, it's important to like.
Though I do have to say, if you're making a survival game and it's open world and you don't have like survival games, I will kind of pass over with the whole, if you can't make stuff interesting, you just fuck off, don't even try, because the survival mechanics of your game are what make your game interesting. So you kind of, open world and survival kind of go hand in hand a lot of the time for me.
Well, yeah, but I mean, the world should still like facilitate the mechanics of.
Well,
the
yeah,
survival.
of course, yeah. I mean, but make it. I don't need like.
If all your game has going for it is that I have to go out into a boring ass open world and pick up plants to survive, then that's not interesting.
But I mean, it's like I don't need like weird random encounters.
Well, no.
I mean, you can have.
I don't think there's any one way that your game has to make its open world interesting. It just needs
to be interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, that makes sense. Isaac, you play more survival games than I do.
That's difficult to say because mine are like either Terraria or Starbound, and a lot of that relies on the fact that like Starbound is different planets that are supposed to be interesting and like new to you.
See,
and then
I don't want to interrupt you that hard, but I just want to ask this question. Minecraft, I would
is an open world.
I would call open world.
Open world.
Terraria, I probably would not call open
No,
world.
it's not. It's not really.
But
'cause
why?
It ends.
See, we exactly agree about why, because I have no idea why. But I like in my head, I'm like, that's the way it is.
Because it ends, and Minecraft is infinite.
Well,
as
Minecraft
long as-
ends, has credits. It ends as much as Terraria does.
Well, I mean, the world is expansive. Like, it never ends.
How do you beat Minecraft?
I mean, there's a final boss.
There's the Ender Dragon.
Yeah.
And
There's a final dungeon and a final boss, and the credits roll.
You can still continue to play on, which
Oh, yeah.
makes it open world.
I'm confused as hell right now.
There's a final combat and dungeon goal for you to achieve. It's not.
What?
Have you never played Minecraft?
I have played it very casually. I've never
Okay.
been like,
There's like they've
let
had
me
its,
play Minecraft.
the hugest update I've ever had is they put the Ender Dragon in, which ends an end goal and has
Yeah, you gotta like collect certain items, and then you find these dungeons, and then you can like create a portal to this alternate realm, and then you go there, and there's like enemies, and there's a boss, and once you beat that boss, that's the end of the game. Because to even get that far, you basically have to have like super top tier stuff.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
and you basically what you do is you kill a bunch of Endermen, gather their eyes, chuck them to find a stronghold, which is where the Ender portal is. You finish it off with the item that you craft from getting the Nether, and then you fight the fucker. You fight the Ender Dragon.
Wow. Wow.
Still a better dragon fight than I'll do.
You're not wrong. You're fucking
No,
not
but
wrong.
here's okay. I was just thinking about it while we were talking, and I think this is why the Minecraft Terraria distinction, open world distinction. Minecraft, it does have like a goal, right? It does have, but I don't think it's as important to like enjoying and progressing in the game as in Terraria, because Terraria is all about. It's not so much about making cool shit. I mean, that's a part of it, but it's a lot more about like fighting monsters in underground and making new equipment for yourself and
So you can survive
making
longer.
a stronger character and fighting bosses. Like when I play Terraria, I'm not like, okay, let's dick around and make something cool. When I'm playing Terraria, I'm like, okay, well I need to get this material so I can make this armor so I can beat this boss, so I can get this material so I can beat this boss. And the whole game is like that. Once you beat certain bosses, like you unlock new ways to make stronger stuff.
Right.
So the game, your progression through the game is a lot more linear.
Also, it's hard to make fucking creative stuff in a 2D environment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you absolutely can, and people do. I mean,
Well-
it is fun to make a cool little house because you have all these NPCs that you can put in there. But
Yeah.
The game's updated a lot too. Shit.
if you ask me, the main goal of the main player goal of each game is different, and Terraria is more linear, and Minecraft's more like do whatever the fuck you want.
Right. I guess we can kind of get into the pros of open world design. I don't think there's that much. I mean, for me, a lot of time it's just there.
I mean,
You can definitely outweigh the cons.
there's
of
like a
an
million.
Open world
I
game
mean, in a good
if you're
open world
good.
game, there's a ton of fun stuff to do. If it's like a
Right.
fantasy or like not a realistic world, it can be like really immersive.
Yeah.
If the world makes like logical sense, and like in Morrowind and kind of Oblivion, you like get into the politics of all these different cities and all that shit. So like, I don't think you can do that if it wasn't an open world game. Like, you wouldn't be able to like run around and like figure out all these different factions and stuff and politics of this like whole island, because the
Right.
whole island is almost a character in itself.
Right.
The open world is like a character almost.
Yeah.
Where maybe in something like GTA, I think San Andreas has the best open world.
Okay.
I just think there's in GTA 5, which also takes place in the state of San Andreas and like has Los Santos as its main city. It's like Los Santos and then like the forest countryside and then like the desert, and that's the whole map.
Yeah.
And it's fucking huge.
Oh, yeah.
But San Andreas is a lot smaller, but it also has 3 cities, a huge ass like forest section, a big ass mountain, and like a big ass desert.
Right.
So even though each thing is smaller, there's more things, and that game just has like a ton of stuff to do, and the story takes you all throughout the whole fucking state.
Right. I mean, that's...
So there's like there's a billion things to do, and it's like fun, and each city has its own atmosphere, and
Right. I think that if you implement a good way to get around your map, It's alright if it's bigger.
I don't think GTA 5 is too big.
Oh, no.
I think it's fine. It's plenty easy to get around.
I mean,
I just think, despite the fact that it's way bigger than San Andreas, it's less interesting, at least from a design standpoint. There is a fuck ton of stuff to do in GTA 5.
Yeah.
So
my problem with open world though is I routinely get lost. Like in GTA 5, I got lost.
there's a big ass map.
What you mean? There's a big ass map.
You hit the map button. There's a huge map.
It don't matter, dude. I still get lost.
My dude, you can get lost in a tin can.
You can get lost in Final Fantasy 13.
I can't. I don't think so.
I don't know.
Ooh.
You might. Some of those hallways kind of look the same from.
Tune in next time where we see if Eric gets lost in Final Fantasy 13.
I'm not playing that damn game again. All right, I guess we can kind of talk about the flip side to it. What like, I don't like when games restrict me too much in terms of map.
Well, the interesting thing about like with Breath of the Wild, like it's like nice because I think if you have a huge map, like you can climb up walls in that game.
Yeah.
But you have a stamina bar, so you can't climb up too far. You fucking fall down into your death.
Right.
And like the thing about like Skyrim, there's like this hill. You can't tell if you can climb up. Your fucking measly feet can't climb up of it because it's a fucking force field up there. It's a struggle. Just to climb
if you
up
just get a horse, if you get a horse, you climb vertical surfaces.
Your fucking horse is Spider-Man, but you can't climb up.
That's something else that is like. Hopefully, you should be able to do like in Breath of the Wild. If you can see it, you can do it. You can climb it and fucking fuck around with it. In most open world games, it's like they'll be like, if you can see it, you can go there, and then like in Fallout 3, and I don't remember in Skyrim, but in Fallout 3, the end of the game, there's literally no reason. Like there's no like enclosing thing around the game. Like you just walk, and then once you hit the end of the world, like you can see more shit. Like it looks like you can go there, and then it literally says, "Turn back. You cannot go any farther."
That's what it says in Skyrim too. If you keep heading south out of Riften, you eventually on like one pathway, you eventually go, and it's like this. Like I think it's the road to Cyrodiil, actually. Maybe I don't know. I don't know the map of Tamriel, but it's like you can't go past here. Turn around. And I'm like, what?
And then, Oblivion does the same thing.
I'm sure.
Yeah, and then Morrowind kind of got around it because it takes place on Vardenfell, which is like an island.
Yeah. Of
Morrowind, so like there's a big, and that's what GTA does too. It's just everything's surrounded by water, which is like, it's somewhere between Morrowind and Skyrim because it's I mean, it doesn't make any sense for like a state to just be floating in the water, but you just kind of accept it because it's more interesting than...
Hey, Hawaii's surrounded by water.
More interesting than an invisible wall. You know what I mean. San Andreas is supposed to be California. California is not surrounded on all sides by water.
When the San Andreas fault falls through, it will.
Well, it's just like the lazy man's way of like saying, like, hey, we're not going to put up a wall. So
it's better. It's better than a wall, but it's not as good as like Morrowind, where it's or even in New Vegas. There's like it's almost like you're in a valley, and there's just like mountains on all sides. There's only like one or two areas where it looks like you could leave the area, but you can't.
Right.
It's mostly just mountains around you.
In Far Cry 3, they get away with it because you're on an island.
Yeah, that's the easiest way, I think.
Yeah. I never played Fallout 1 or 2.
I think that you just can't. The world is the world is a grid.
Yeah.
And each grid, like not each, but a thing usually takes up a square on the grid, and there's just like a certain. Once you hit the edge, you just can't go any farther.
Yeah. And I don't know about Far Cry 4 though.
I don't know that much about Far Cry.
I know like it takes place in like within this country, so maybe there's like guards at the edge of the country or something. I don't know.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like if like, and especially in Skyrim, like, and you go into Skyrim, like all the Nords are there, and they're like, Imperials, get the fuck out. Why? Like, if you can leave the place, then what the fuck are you doing, Nords? There should be like a gate right there that says, hey, keep the fuck out, or keep the fuck in. You're not leaving.
I
like
don't
if
know.
it would make for a better immersion than just walking out and then your character be like, You can't go back. You fuckface.
Also,
don't be dumb.
Also, kind of thinking about Skyrim that I kind of don't understand. The crux of the beginning of the game is you get caught trying to cross the border illegally. If Skyrim is part of the Empire, how can you cross a border illegally? Like, don't make no sense. Like, I can't cross over.
That's why you're arrested?
Yeah.
Oh,
because you're caught trying to cross over the border illegally.
Aren't you a fugitive?
No. You're just trying to cross over the border illegally. That's all they say is, like, you're caught trying to cross the border illegally. I'm pretty, like, I'd have to restart Skyrim again, but I'm pretty sure that's all they catch you for. Mm. And then I like, thinking about it, if Skyrim is a province of the Empire, and is close to Cyrodiil, it's like...
It is literally connected to Cyrodiil. The bottom of the map of Skyrim and the top of the map of Oblivion are touching.
Yeah. So, how are you crossing a border? You can't cross over from, like Georgia to Florida illegally. There's no border there.
I mean, I think you can if you have a warrant and you're not allowed to leave the state.
Well, if you're on probation or something.
In my head, the way I remember it is that you are a fugitive and they caught you trying to cross the border, and that's why they're going to execute you.
Well, then they would know your name, but they don't know your name.
But they never know your name.
It doesn't make this the whole thing doesn't make any sense.
Are you?
And you're always a prisoner in Elder Scrolls. It's like a thing.
Well, yeah, of course.
From rags to riches.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah,
that's a good feeling.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's.
I mean, most games kind of have it, but
yeah,
it is kind of cool. Like, this is something GTA does really well. Like, at the beginning of San Andreas, you're like, you just came back from a different city, so you have no money to your name. Your family hates your guts because after your mom died, CJ left because he couldn't deal with the gang lifestyle anymore.
Yeah.
He comes back and then the cops are like, "Hey, we're framing you for murder, motherfucker." And he's like, "Hey,
that's not cool."
They're like, "Do what we want, or you're going to prison." And then by the end, you fucking own a casino. You run with a fucking triad. You're like,
oh yeah.
You have a mansion. You feel like a fucking badass.
Wish I could run the triad.
And you can buy all these properties. I forgot about that. Most GTA games, you can buy a bunch of shit all throughout the world, so
yeah,
you feel like you're fucking real estate investor and shit. You couldn't do that if it wasn't open world.
GTA 5 does that really well.
Yeah.
The problem with Skyrim doing that is gold is like pennies basically. Everything is fucking expensive. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean,
and especially with the bar. I hate this in games. I hate it so much. I like how it is. It's when traders have a certain amount of money, and you're like, "Let me sell this shit," but the motherfucker runs out of money, so you can't sell anymore, and the shit that they sell, you don't want it. So you gotta go around trying to find a seller who has money.
You gotta wait
for fucking ever. I don't know when it is.
I think it's a week or something.
Oh, it said on the wiki.
All right.
It says, at the beginning of Skyrim, the Dragonborn is a prisoner captured in Imperial ambush, which was set up to capture Stormcloaks.
Okay, so they think you're a Stormcloak and they're just gonna kill you. Okay.
Yeah. But I mean,
well, that eats dick.
Yeah, it's stupid. I mean,
I don't know.
Ulfric's wrong anyway. Let me say that right out. Empire forever.
Yeah, I'm an Empire boy too. The Stormcloaks are kind of fucking idiots. All right, I'm just gonna do this spiel real quick. All right, because I want to do it. All right. So the Thalmor just beat the fucking Empire in a war, right?
Yeah.
And now the Thalmor is strong enough to boss the Empire around.
Yeah.
So how is the best response to defeat the Thalmor? To segregate yourself from the Empire, form your own little racist, little egocentric little fucking rebellion group, and then try to beat the Empire. And then what are you gonna do? Fight the Thalmor by yourself?
Yeah.
It doesn't make any fucking sense. They're idiots.
Yeah.
If you want to have a discussion about whether or not the power structure needs to be the same, why don't you fucking get rid of the goddamn elves that are taking over your goddamn fucking empire first, right?
Right.
I mean, that makes sense.
Yeah.
We wouldn't have had the Civil War if we were getting fucking attacked by Australia, right?
No.
The Confederacy would have come back pretty fucking quick.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeehaw.
Yeah, they'd be like, well, let's solve this Australia problem first.
Yeah.
And then we can solve our little problem.
Yeah.
And then we might not even have the problem anymore.
And that's not even to mention that Ulfric Stormcloak is a piece of shit, and the Stormcloaks are a bunch of racist fucks anyway, so.
Yeah, well, yeah, of course.
So, like, fuck everyone who's not a Nord. I'm like, you're fucking yourself. There's like 10 Nords.
There's like, yeah.
Why don't you let anyone who worships Talos and is not an elf, like, just be kind of racist?
Don't even be kind of racist. The elves are, like, half the elves hate the high elves anyway. They hate the Thalmor. Why not just accept anybody who hates the Thalmor?
But, anyway, what was I gonna say? I kind of forgot.
I don't know.
Fuck.
The stupid Stormcloaks got us all.
I had some. Oh
shit.
I mean, this is bad in RPGs in general, but if it's really bad in an open world RPG when they try to like give you like a ton of backstory.
What do you mean?
If it's an open world RPG, especially in that scenario, because there's open world games that aren't RPGs, obviously, like whatever, like the new Tomb Raiders are kind of open worldy.
Okay.
Near kind of, like I said, Grand Theft Auto isn't really a role-playing game. But stuff like Fallout and Skyrim and other open-world RPGs, like, especially in Fallout 3, when the game starts at your birth, and then they, like, show you your entire life. I mean, it's like snippets.
Yeah, of course.
And then they're like, your dad ran away.
Yeah,
And it's like, I'm gonna chase him. What if my character doesn't... See, you're forcing me to give a shit about my dad. When ideally, you shouldn't tell me anything, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You shouldn't be telling me how my character feels. It's worse in Fallout 4 when...
Sean!
Well, it also makes no sense
Sean!
because in an open world game,
Sean!
it has to make sense for...
Sean!
It has... You fucking stop. It has to make sense for your character to fuck around and do all the side stuff.
Yeah.
In Fallout 4, and to a lesser extent Fallout 3, it doesn't make any... It makes no sense why your character would do anything but try to find their
dad or their son.
Their son, yeah.
Like
It makes no sense. Why would I fuck around with Preston Garvey, licking Preston Garvey's balls for like 30 hours when my son's missing? So not only are you forcing my character to like, and he has a voice in Fallout. Jesus Christ, I hate that game.
What do you mean, man?
But
also Mass Effect choices. Oh my god, I fucking hate them.
At least Mass Effect choices are good in Mass Effect. Shit.
Is Mass Effect an open world game?
It is not really.
No.
You can. I mean, no.
No.
As you progress through the game, you unlock main planets, and you can like explore.
What's
okay,
that?
you can fly to in Mass Effect 1.
Okay.
You can fly to every planet and like land on it.
Uh-huh.
You can't land on everyone, but like in each solar system, you land on one or two, and then like drive around. But it's like barren. There's no shit. There's like a few.
Yeah.
Sometimes there's a quest. Usually there's a few items.
Okay.
In Mass Effect 2, it's even less than that. You can like farm most planets for resources, and then every once in a while there will be a side quest, and then you can go to the planet.
Really good one though. Fable.
The Fable games are garbage. Don't ever say that to me again.
Don't think you ever played a Fable one.
Yeah. They're bad. They're no good. The guy who makes them is a liar.
Jesus.
You're not wrong about that. The guy who made... He is a liar.
Peter Molyneux,
The
probably?
Yeah.
the problem with Fable, especially the first one, is that they were like... They hyped it up so much. It was like Spore, kind of.
Spore is so stupid. I hate Spore.
Where...
Spore is fun.
Yeah, but...
It's fun, but it's stupid.
But you...
Oh,
Excuse
shit.
me. You weren't paying attention to all the lead up to Spore, because 5 years before the game came out, they showed off a version of the game that is 10 times what the actual game was. And it's the same thing with Fable. They were like, every choice you make massively affects the story in the world, and that's an outright lie. And he Todd Howard us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Peter Molyneux, the liar.
Yeah. Peter and Todd, those motherfuckers.
Peter Montague should have stayed sticking with fucking DOS games. Made a shit ton of them.
Oh man, what was I gonna say? I don't know. You distracted me with Fable.
But yeah, open world RPGs, you should... Well, any open world game, it should make sense for me to be able to do all the side stuff.
Yeah.
You need to build the main story to account for the fact that the game is open world. Because if the story is high pressure, but I can also spend 50 hours fucking around collecting pine cones, then it doesn't make any sense.
Right.
But
is that why it makes more sense in New Vegas?
Yeah, because so they don't tell you what your backstory is. They kind of do in the DLC. They tell you stuff that your character did, like one or two things.
Yeah.
But all you know is that you got shot in the head. You don't remember anything. So it makes sense if you never ever do the main quest, because why the fuck would you go after the guy who shot you twice in the face?
Yeah, I'm not gonna go after that guy.
It makes sense for a character to not want to do that. It also makes sense for a character to know, like, why the fuck did this guy shoot me twice in the face, and why am I still alive?
Right.
I mean, like a lot of, there's people who would want to know that, but there's some people who would like fuck that, and it makes sense. Like,
at least I'm alive.
I mean, you are missing out on a huge chunk of the game if you don't play the main quest.
Yeah.
But it makes sense for your character not to. And then,
right.
like in Oblivion, kinda. I mean, they don't give your character a backstory, but like the story's more high stakes.
Yeah.
Like, the world is ending, this demon's about to come, you better hurry up. And you're
Yeah.
just like picking flowers.
Skyrim,
like,
after a point, it's pretty
this is
high
fun.
stakes. Morrowind is like, the main quest is lit like, you start the game, and then you arrive, and they're like, alright, go do something. You can go talk to this guy, he'll help you out. He's a member of the Blade, so you can go talk to him, and he literally tells you, he's like, hey, you should spend some time exploring, and like, maybe join a guild, and like, learn a little bit about Morrowind. Like, he literally tells you that in the main quest.
Yeah.
So you can fuck off and do whatever you want, because the main quest doesn't become high pressure until like the very end.
Right.
Like at the beginning, it's like meet people, explore cities. That's the main quest of the game. And then by the end, it's obviously kill Dagathor and save the world. But
yeah,
it makes sense. If the point of an open world game, if one point of it is to increase immersion, then you make the main quest, and you write the writing in such a way where it doesn't make any sense for me to be doing all the fun stuff that you hopefully put in your open world, and fuck you.
Right. I mean, I just make Skyrim immersive for myself because I like to run around and kill wolves and deer. I like to shoot deer with Oriel's bow. It's kind of fun. You know.
Well, here's another wrench in the cogs. Is Dead Rising, the first one.
Never played them.
I think I would call Dead Rising an open world game. The world's pretty small, but it's like...
Did you play it in a mall?
Yeah.
The first one.
Yeah. Second one you play...
Isn't it also in a mall?
It's in a mall, but you can like go outside and stuff, right? Can you go outside in
and
Dead Rising 1?
3 takes
so.
place in a city. And then
I mean, yeah, they're pretty much
4 kind of... I think 4 goes back to a mall.
Yeah. 4 is back to the mall.
Yeah.
But those those games are almost like counter to what I was just saying, even though they're still open world games, because there's a time limit.
Yeah, they're also very story driven too.
Yeah.
Another good example of an open world game. Maybe I'm wrong, but Red Dead Redemption.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, that's basically what Rockstar North makes is open world games. Even Bully, which has a much smaller world, is still like you have the whole school campus, and then you have like the surrounding city and stuff. That's still an open world game. The world is smaller, but
now does the time limit on Dead Rising make it a good game?
Well, I think
shit.
I think that's way more of an opinion because I don't really like time limits.
Yeah, I don't like time limits either.
Well, like some of the missions are
because
like
time limits fucking make me feel like everything I do is wrong. Like in Pikmin fucking 1, like I'll be playing Pikmin, I'll be like, God damn it, I'm like stressing out trying to play Pikmin is supposed to be like chill. I want to chill, so that's why
Pikmin gave me a fucking hard time.
That's why I like that's why I like the second one.
Every Pikmin that dies gives me a fucking.
Well, yeah, because you feel like you might be fucking yourself. Like if you have a bad run, you're like, oh, should I either gotta load the save or I'm fucked.
What about Persona 4? Does that count as open world? Because
Yeah, but it's like 3 screens.
Hey man,
Persona 4 is smaller than Persona 3, and Persona 5 isn't even that big. Persona 5 is like has like 3 times as many areas you can go to as.
Okay. So I guess
the
it's
other
not
ones.
really open world.
But I wouldn't really call it open world. No.
All right.
But I mean, I get it. Kind of has like some of that same like
some of the feel.
Some of that same feel where you everywhere there is, you can pretty much go.
Yeah.
And even like Persona 5 has a ton of like little one-off places you can go to, a lot more than
a lot of locations that you go with friends. You just hang out there.
Cool.
And then you never fuck off until someone's like, let's go here.
But no, I wouldn't say so because it's just like a little hub where you can talk to people and buy stuff. It's not really
right. Okay. I can't really. Is there anything else that you really?
What's your favorite open world game, and what's your least favorite?
My favorite open world game?
Maybe not your favorite open world game even, but what's your favorite open world and what's your least favorite open world?
I don't. I don't know. Come to me, lass.
What about you?
Least favorite, Dragon's Dogma.
Least favorite?
Yeah. Top favorite would probably have to be played a fucking.
I want to bring something up. I want to ask this.
What about The Witcher?
The Witcher is open world.
Open world, yeah.
Okay.
But it's more in the vein of the near style than the
Okay.
Grand Theft Auto style. But I would, especially like 3.
Okay.
3's a lot more open. Is Dark Souls an open world game?
That's what I was going to ask, but I don't want to seem like a fucking idiot.
It's a question that's been asked. I don't think it is either.
No.
But I've heard people kind of call it that.
Well, it depends. Like if you're really good,
I think
you can go anywhere until like it especially like the.
I think if there is a Dark Souls that it's an open world game, it's pretty much only Dark Souls 1.
Yeah.
Because every other game is way more like level E.
Because
Dark Souls 1's really interconnected compared to the other ones.
You have to be really good to be on like level 1 just to go through the catacombs. Because you get fucked.
Yeah.
You get fucked.
Well, that's how.
But I still wouldn't say it's an open world. I'd say it is the most open world E because it feels the most like a world.
Right.
Everything like Demon Souls is literally 5 levels.
Yeah, Demon Souls.
And then
you go to a hub and
Bloodborne is like
they're all interconnected.
I would say Bloodborne's more of an open world than Dark Souls is.
It's not as interconnected.
Really?
I mean, everything is more like aesthetically cohesive. Okay. So it doesn't feel like a bunch of video game levels necessarily, but like it's not. Bloodborne's weight is not as interconnected as Dark Souls.
You have the hub world, and then like
you have a hub.
You can go. Dick off anywhere. Wherever.
The levels are kind of loop into themselves.
Okay.
But like in Dark Souls, you're playing and you get to the you've been playing for a couple hours. You're like, holy shit, dude! I'm in this fucking church, man. I'm so far from Firelink Shrine. You hit that elevator, and then you go down to Firelink Shrine. You're like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
That never happens in Bloodborne.
Yeah, they're all
Bloodborne.
They're all like pools.
It's like a hub. It's like a hub, and then you like hit an area. And then the area is very like intertwined, and there's lots of little shortcuts that lead back to different lampposts and stuff. But in terms of the whole game, I wouldn't say it's. It's less interconnected than Dark Souls.
Okay. They're really just more branches than stuff
all
like
right.
that.
I guess
that's how I think that. As far as I understand, I haven't played Dark Souls 3 yet, but that's how Dark Souls 3 is as well. It's like it's even more like that apparently because apparently the way you go through each area is pretty linear, but each level is like its own little sandboxy type thing.
I think one argument against Dark Souls being an open world game is there's too many places where you end up and you just need like some sort of thing to pick you up and take you somewhere.
Yeah.
Like from Sen's Fortress to Anne Orlando, you need something to pick you up and take you somewhere else.
At least the first time.
Yeah. And then you also need the Lord Vessel to open up a bunch of areas.
Yeah.
So I think that's
it's a lot more linear than you would typically.
Yeah. So I guess that's kind of my counterpoint.
Yeah, no, I don't think it is. I just think it's an interesting little point.
I mean, it'd be interesting to have an open world, like a fully open world Dark Souls style game.
I don't see it. I don't think so.
Really?
No, I mean,
for like that to reset you all the way back.
I mean, what do you
explore an area?
What kind of world are we built? Like, are you talking about with an open world Dark Souls game? Because, like,
I see. It would be to me. It'd be how like Bloodborne should have been, like where you're just in like a very expansive Yharnam, going and doing things around Yharnam.
But part of the problem is that
turn GTA into Dark Souls.
But they are action games, but they're also RPGs.
Right.
And the games are balanced around the fact that you're leveling up.
Right.
In a certain way, and that they would either have to be balanced. It'd either have to be scaling difficulty, which is fucking terrible.
Yeah.
And fuck scaling forever.
That's what happens with Dragon's Dogma, because then you get either repetitive enemies that just like are plopped throughout the area instead of it like being like different, like they could be like a bunch of like creative ones, but then they'd have to like either put them like farther down in the area, like where like in-game stuff happens. They'd have to do like higher level stuff.
Yeah.
And then slowly like decrease it when like in the beginning of the game, and that's hard to do because like, well then you figure out where the end of the game is, and it can be like Fallout 2 where you can just fuck off and dick off and go to the last dungeon, and like beat the game.
Yeah.
And then or level scaling, which absolutely fucking sucks dick, and that's what fucking Dead Island did, and that shit sucks absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, almost every Bethesda game does it. So
Yeah.
It started with Oblivion, where like you could be level 20 and you could see bandits running around in fucking ebony armor.
Yeah.
Like, okay, that breaks my immersion.
I mean, doesn't it help you pick up ebony armor though?
I mean, yeah, but why the fuck does that bandit have fucking Daedric armor?
He's a Daedric bandit. I don't know.
But
and the problem is like
I think one of the best things about Dark Souls is level design, and I think
Yeah.
if you make when you make an open world game, you almost don't have level design unless you have like dungeons.
Right. I mean that's kind of like my point. Like you have dungeons, but just in an open world, kind of.
And like the problem with like open world is like
I mean,
connecting those things, like connecting those enemies, like to see them. Because like in Dark Souls, you're never constantly facing piddly undead. You're always facing like something like a bigger threat and constantly like going up.
I don't know. Have you played Dark Souls 2?
Sadly.
Unfortunately, there's a shit ton of undead in fucking Dark Souls 2, and it's fucking ridiculous and how bad they rely on like grouping enemies. But in like Dark Souls 3, since it's like a hub world, there's like a main enemy. Like in Dark Souls 3, there's like the old snake people from like Dark Souls 1, the serpents, and like they're everywhere. So you just see that, and then just the boss that's there, and that kind of sucks because it isn't as much as like isn't as creative as Dark Souls 1.
I hate the snake dudes. The
So
snake
no,
dudes
so-
are awful.
So we agree that it's not an open world game.
No,
right?
it's not an open world
No.
game.
It'd be interesting to see one. I would like to see one. I would support it.
Be interested in seeing how FromSoft does an open world game, especially from like.
See, well, and you were gonna say your favorite, right? Have you thought of it yet?
I haven't played many open world games because a lot of the times I either play like roguelikes, and like that's like Dungeons and Dragons, which is like over the top, and it's not really.
No, it's not really.
It's not open world because there's not good open world ones. Like Borderlands, I get bored of because I constantly.
Something wrong with you, boy.
It's not as fun.
Borderlands.
Yeah, I get bored of it really easily. I get
No,
a lot.
I mean the levels of Borderlands aren't really what interesting as the combat. So.
Yeah. I guess my favorite open world game is really the only ones that I really played is like Skyrim and GTA 5. So Skyrim is my least favorite and GTA 5 is my favorite, I guess. But that being said, I've still sunk almost like over 200 hours into Skyrim. I know, only 200 hours?
I don't know, my favorite world, I don't know, I'm not going to say game, but my favorite world is either San Andreas or, I don't know, I'm going to say Morrowind instead of New Vegas. I find the story of New Vegas a lot more interesting, but I think Morrowind has such a unique and
feel to it?
Unique and immersive world that's like not like a lot of other fantasy stuff.
See,
that makes it a lot more interesting.
I think I'm having a tie between like New Vegas because I do like New Vegas a lot.
Yep, I do too.
Because like I remember one time just going to a prison and then just like absolutely like killing everybody in it and just leaving, like dipping the fuck out and like, bye, I'm about to do a quest now.
Yeah, fuck those powder gangers.
And then
yeah, I don't like the Fallout games that much.
It's fun. I don't know what's wrong with you. That's
he doesn't like sci-fi stuff.
Ew.
I like fantasy better than like. I don't like post-apocalyptic sci-fi. Don't get me wrong. I don't like post-apocalyptic.
And that's something that like Fallout 1 was really post-apocalyptic, and then Fallout 2 was like kind of post-apocalyptic, and then New Vegas has already gotten to.
Well,
Fallout postmodern apocalyptic.
No, Fallout New Vegas is not about how do we survive after the apocalypse. It's okay, so how we're remaking the world. What political philosophy and what faction gets to decide the kind of world that we live in? That's what the story is about. It's not about Fallout 3. It's like we need to drink some water.
I'm starving.
It's insanely boring. New Vegas is like, okay, so is benevolent dictatorship, like cruel, violent, but stable social order, or like corrupt democracy? Which of these is the best?
You're
like that's interesting. Like that's
hell to Kaiser, and you're like,
that's why that world is interesting.
Awe, Kaiser,
See,
shut
I
the
mean,
fuck up.
See, in like New Vegas, the world isn't interesting really because of the stuff. It's more interesting because of the story. But I think that's fair.
Right.
I think that's part of it.
Let me throw this out before I say between my ties of favorite, because I don't know if this
Spit
one.
it out.
Well, okay. What scenarios or like what settings serve a better open world game than others? Because I think fantasy is a lot better.
Fantasy definitely, I feel, is a lot better. Lends itself more to like open
general.
world.
Yeah, in general. I mean, because you can literally just make up like whatever you want.
Yeah. I
And
just...
you can literally build your entire setting from the ground up. Like even Fallout is based on fake history, but it's still based on like some ideal of like 1950s and 60s America gone wrong, and then the world ends. That's what I mean. It's based on a real world, so it's still kind of limited by like kind of realistic technologies and stuff. Obviously, there's lasers and shit, but I mean, if you make a fantasy world, you can develop a magic system, and you can make up all these races, and you can invent like new kinds of
and you can have like interesting ways to get around your map. You can have
you can have giant bugs pick you up and take you across the map.
Yeah.
And you can also have like cool things in your map.
Yeah.
Like
it just lends itself to creativity, I think. Like giving your armor like +5 to butt smacking.
I definitely think it's easier to make at least an interesting world based on that, but like now would something like the story of New Vegas work in a fantasy setting? No.
With a bit of tweaks, maybe.
It'd be a lot different.
It would be.
I mean, you
could
shit-ton
different.
It would be. Here's what I would say. If you make a story about politics in a fantasy world, it's a lot more interesting if you.
It'd probably be more about religion.
If you aren't applying your politics to real life.
Okay.
But since Fallout is based on the real world, in a way, when New Vegas talks about real life politics, you're thinking about, okay, I can kind of envision what it would be like if the world ended and then these different types of groups try to take over the world, like we're trying to be in control. Then it's a lot more. You're almost thinking more at a real life perspective, so it's interesting in a different way.
Okay.
So I think there's lots of different stuff you can do.
Okay.
Most of the fantasy games I played are normally like the reason of conflict is some god coming down to destroy the world.
Well, especially in Japanese games.
Yeah. Japan hates God.
Well, like in Beyond Divinity, it's like your character is in hell. And it's not really an open world game, but it's just another fantasy. Like you're in hell. This demon has attached to you, and like some demon has like kept you there and tortured you. He's like, we have to break up and kill this guy. And you're like, all right, well, a religious reference and shit like that. And then Dungeons and Dragons, like, well, shit. I mean, this guy's gonna come.
I mean, some Dungeons and Dragons campaigns are open world games.
Yeah.
I
if
guess.
your DM lets you go wherever the fuck you want, right?
Yep.
Planescape Torment is kind of open world. You have to. I haven't beat it, but at the beginning, it's basically like, why did I die? Let me explore this entire city and find out. And you kind of have to like find clues and shit.
Yeah.
So, and I mean, it's a pretty. I mean, there's lots of shit to do, lots of people to talk to, lots of little quests and stuff.
Yeah.
So.
I think the best experience is like tabletop, because then.
Shut up with your nerd shit.
We need to make
the
D&D cast.
We need to do a D&D cast. Shit.
Or we play some D&D.
I've been begging. I've been fucking getting tabletop games and like shoving it in my friend's face. And like, maybe. I'm like, fuck. Play with me, shit.
All right. I think we've moved past our topic.
But I think the tie
times.
between my favorite would be either Red Faction Guerrilla or
New Vegas.
New Vegas, yeah.
Okay.
All right.
That's fair.
Okay.
Alrighty.
All right.
All right.
And you said worst. Your worst was Dragon's Dogma.
Yeah.
And your worst was Skyrim.
Yeah. I don't play a whole lot of open world shit.
Open world's so hard to come by. It's ridiculous.
My worst is like shit I don't even like. Watch Dogs looks so fucking boring.
Watch Dogs is just
a lot of the.
It's
a lot of the shit in Assassin's Creed that's not in the main story is super uninteresting.
I forgot about Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, they made Assassin's Creed's like huge open worlds, and like there's literally nothing to do but spot flags and jump off towers. Like they might as well not even be open world.
Yeah, you can't kill anyone. You can't do anything. Basically.
Yeah, you can't even kill animals.
The interesting parts of the game is the main story. So why is it open world? Like it's an open world because that was the trend at the time the games were coming out, not because it made sense for the game.
Yeah.
And that's the worst thing you can do is
follow a trend.
Follow a trend that fucks up your game.
Yeah.
So.
Instead of making an open world game, maybe you should have finished assets. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah.
Unity.
I don't know. That's its whole own topic. Following trends that fuck up your game. I was talking to some dude about BioShock, and I was like, BioShock didn't. The gameplay of BioShock and BioShock 2 and BioShock Infinite is like so uninteresting and like almost irrelevant to the story of the game that it makes me want to die.
Well, here's another one. Is BioShock an open world? Because I'm pretty sure you can...
No. It's a linear first-person shooter.
Yeah.
You can't go wherever you want.
Dummy.
I thought you can go back and forth between each levels.
Yeah, you can go back and forth, but...
That doesn't make it open world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Big Daddy.
You wrong.
Son. I don't have anything else to add.
No, I think that's it.
Short and sweet, to the point.
All right.
Wait. I just thought of something, actually.
Okay. All right. What's up?
Get cooked on your ending, bitch.
KOTOR.
No.
No? Okay.
It's almost... I'm not going to say it's like levels. There's like little levels that are open. I mean, a lot of levels aren't even that open, really.
Okay.
Like, if you go, like, in Tatooine and KOTOR, you land your ship, and then there's, like, a hallway almost through Tatooine, and there's, like, little buildings and shit on the side you can go into, and you can talk to people and get some quests. And then you go into the next area, and it's just a big desert with a bunch of combat stuff. And then you move another screen, and then there's, like, the Tusken Raider camp, and there's a Crate Dragon cave on the side.
Okay.
And, like, that's the whole... I mean, that's not open world. It's, like, it's 4 screens, and... I mean, there's interesting stuff to find in it, but it's a level. It's an open-ish level, but it's not an open world game, no.
Okay. Alright, well.
Alright.
Catch us next week.
Alright, see ya.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye-bye.